everybody, welcome back to Blind Wave Gaming. I'm Eric, and if there's one thing you should know about me, it's that I am a huge Legend of Zelda fan, both in size and in heart. Zelda is a very important part of my gaming life. Like a lot of you, Ocarina of Time was my jam. It was the type of thing that I played all the time. Like, there were other games, yes, but I would just keep coming back and playing Ocarina of Time, and eventually Majora's Mask and Wind Waker and all the other great games, and Breath of the Wild. All right, in this video right now, we're gonna go over to our first reaction, and then we're gonna come back and together go shot by shot and really break down this trailer. So come along.
Please take a look.
No snap. Oh no.
All right, if we're gonna do it, it's here.
What they say for the end.
Yes.
Ah, there it is.
Uh-huh.
Look at the malice coming out of the mountain.
What are those?
Flying enemies. Whoa.
They're like mining.
Rise,
Carving.
rise, my servants. Sweep over Hyrule. Eliminate this kingdom and her
Who's
allies.
talking?
Leave no survivors.
Oh, damn.
Whoa.
Make my monster grow.
The blood moon.
Oh, cool.
Whoa.
Look, they're carrying him. Oh, what is that? It's from Minecraft.
Link, I am not sure you'll be able to stop him.
Whoa. That's like a seeking arrow.
Oh, whoa. Talus. New hand.
Whoa. That's cool.
Oh my God.
You got a helicarrier.
Dude, the physics engine's gonna be so great. Ah, stuff's falling down.
Huh.
Okay. Well.
What are they? What was that? It's backwards.
Please, lend him your power.
They didn't change it.
A12.
Good. Oh, thank God. All right, so that was the first reaction. Obviously, I was super excited, but there's nothing compared to what I'm going to be doing right now, which is the excitement of really breaking down this thing. So come along with me as we break down the shots for this official trailer too. First thing we got, rain. Tears makes sense, but we get this big wide shot. In the distance, we can see Death Mountain here with Malice this time coming out. So it seems like there's a theme, and we'll really point this out later in the trailer. There's a theme of Malice being underground. You know, Breath of the Wild was fantastic. You had this huge giant open area to explore, but the sequel to that is equally as exciting. And why? It's because if you think about the development time for the first game, like, they had to build absolutely everything, the physics engine, the structure in which all this stuff is based. For the second game, they really get just to build off of that, right? So I'm really excited to see how far down can we explore? How far up can we explore? We seem to have these kind of like swirling green energy pockets around Hyrule. We'll see those a little bit later, and maybe we can try to theorize about what's going on in this trailer. And if you've never seen a breakdown with me, especially when I'm by myself and I can really let the ideas flow, we're gonna have some theories. All right, so we have these flying monsters here, which is a new enemy type, and obviously gonna be very, very welcome for when we end up in the sky. I'm not sure if this is based off of any monsters that came in any previous Zelda games, but looks pretty good. Okay, this is really interesting. We have down here in this corner, those look like Sheikah towers to me, but there's these spotlights going up. In some of the other trailers, we didn't really see any Sheikah towers, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. We don't have these structures going up. Maybe these structures will be going down. If we're gonna have any focus on what's under Hyrule, be that Malice or whatever else is being mined, maybe the towers can serve the same purpose, just the opposite direction. I don't know, that's kind of my first thought when it came to it. I'm not really sure what it's gonna be, but I'm excited to find out. Also, something really interesting in this shot, and we'll see this again later too, are these very big glyph-like characters that are on the ground. They can glow in the dark, you can see them from far away. Is this communication with the people on the ground? Is this communication for the people that are looking from the sky? I'm not really sure what the utilization is here, but I'm interested, and we'll get a much closer look at these later. All right, so this shot is very interesting to me. It seems that we're in a deep, dark cavern. It's a huge space, so if we are underneath, we must be very far underneath. Immediately comes to eye this type of tree in the background here that seems to have some type of sap or energy in it. I'm not really sure what's going on, but what I am sure what's going on is a mining operation. We see in the bottom left here what seems to be a Lizalfos, but possibly more corrupted by malice. I always thought it was interesting with enemy variety in Zelda. Zelda's world is one of magic and spirits and beings that can become intelligent and work with each other or fight each other. You know, Gorons and Zoras, Rito, whose origins seem to be based in the kind of spiritual, right? Like with the creation myth that we've gotten in Zelda. It's these spirits that kind of become enlightened and strive for things, whether good or bad. But there's always been this idea that the Moblins, Lizalfos, these species are just minions of Ganondorf. And if that's the case, does the malice just enhance them, or is it also kind of putting them more under that spell? The mining here kind of makes it seem like they're gonna be a little bit more sophisticated than just enemy camps. They're doing something, and what are they doing? No idea. We got a little bit of a clue of what's going on later in the trailer, but I think it's really interesting. What is the goal? If it's something that I want to disturb, it's gonna be so rewarding to fight off this mining camp, not just enemies standing around, but enemies with the purpose that I need to try to stop. Also, I don't know what this is, but we have these little blue flames over here in the corner. At first I thought could have been silent princesses, which are flowers that grow around Hyrule, but that wouldn't make sense down here in this cavern. I mean, yeah, we have some, what looks like could be some plant life, mushrooms or something, but those aren't bright flowers. That seems to be blue flames. The closest thing I can think of when it comes to this type of effect is whenever we see ghosts in Hyrule, i.e. the King of Hyrule, the champions, they're kind of surrounded by these blue-green flames. So could this be some indication of a spirit? Very, very interesting. I don't know. This is the type of stuff that really, really gets my imagination going. Like, all of these creatures seem to have different horns. I have some theories. Let's get further in the trailer to talk about certain horns that these characters have. We're at the Bridge of Hylia. And look at this, like, I don't know, three-headed Hydra dragon guarding the way? That's crazy. That's different. There's a lot to try to guess here. What has happened, right? We see Hyrule is worse than it's ever been. Where are the people? Maybe they escaped going up in the world. Maybe we need to help them build settlements that are safe. I'm not really sure what the status quo is gonna be, but it certainly has changed. All right, here we're at Hateno Village. We have another one of the green energy portals. You know, it seems like red, a color that we can look at and talk about malice and enemy variety, but green and like this teal green seems to be something to do with Link and his arm, possibly the Zonai. If you don't know who the Zonai are, they're a ancient tribe that used to live in Hyrule and are here no longer, and there's a lot of interesting stuff when it comes to the Zonai coming up, so let's get into that. We have emphasis here on the Blood Moon, which in the first game was a kind of almost, I don't know if afterthought is the right word, but you know, the game memory needs a reason to be reset. So the Blood Moon was an example of a mechanic that kind of came about through necessity. We have to clear the memory. Blood Moon happens, all the enemies come back, and the game doesn't have to remember what's been happening, it can reset those things. But it seems like here, that kind of afterthought has been used to enhance, right? The Blood Moon is what seems to be enhancing all of these minions in really interesting ways. You know, it's teleporting people and it's corrupting them somehow. Could the red of the Blood Moon and the red of the Malice be way more interlocked than we even thought? It seems to be the case. I don't have the audio on right now, but I'm pretty sure that's Matt Mercer voicing Ganondorf, which is A crazy sentence for me to say. I've loved both of those things separately, and now that I have to marry them in my mind, it's challenging, but also super exciting to get dialogue from the man, Ganondorf, the Gerudo King, as opposed to just kind of this scary, evil personification that Ganon is. I've always enjoyed Ganondorf a little bit more than Ganon himself, and it seems like we're going to be getting into that in Tears of the Kingdom. We see, you know, obviously the Bokoblins, very much like we saw in the Blood Moon in the first game, right? They come down like puppets and then they energize. But if we see these globs of Malice hitting, the Bokoblins are being transported by Malice, so that's interesting. All right, in this next shot, this is where I'm excited. We have a big boy Bokoblin, huge, very exciting to see. We get a little bit more to talk about too when it comes to the Bokoblins here. Like, if you notice, these ones that are falling here are unarmed, but they have these big blades coming out of their foreheads. Later in the trailer, you can also see, you know, things coming out of characters' heads, which to me feels like maybe they keep their weapons in their head. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but go with me here in some of these other shots, and you're gonna feel like, huh, maybe Eric's onto something. We see Lizalfos, and, you know, obviously I think your eye is kind of trained to look to the left side of the screen, but guys, look at the right side of the screen here. Do you know what this is? This is a Redead. It can't not be a Redead, right? If you remember Redeads, they were dead bodies that generally would wear like wooden masks, and I remember them very much in Ocarina of Time. The contrast of being at the market town whenever you're in the child timeline, everything's so bright and vibrant, and there's so many people, and then you leave the Temple of Time and as an adult, and you just see these dead bodies. That was such a moment for me when I was playing that game for the first time. And going into the Tomb of the Royal Family, these terrifying zombie creatures that scream and paralyze you, and they were always really special for me as enemy types, and it's really cool to see this new design for this older enemy, and it's really, really, really interesting. I can't wait to learn more about how the Redeads are going to work in Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, so here we're at some type of Sheikah facility that seems to have both Sheikah technology and built technology around it. Like, you know, I don't really generally see wooden platforms like this interlaced with Sheikah architecture. And if we look at these hands surrounding Link, they very much look like Guardian hands, except for this one at the top, which has like a spool of wire, it seems like to me. So I'm not exactly sure what we're seeing here. Let's see, we have markings here. It looks like they could translate to transport, maybe? Later in the trailer, we do see lines that are connecting various islands in the sky. Maybe this is something to do with that. Bokoblins here. So, okay, these guys are actually armed, but they all have very unique horns, right? Again, this has to be something where maybe the loot system is gonna be a little bit different and we can create weapons out of these horns. I'm just trying to think of different reasons why they're so drastically different. And while it seems like they're parts of weapons that you could use, or I don't even know what to say, take out and use, I'm assuming some enemies that aren't armed, maybe they could literally just put their head down and use their horns as weapons. That makes a lot of sense, obviously. Even here, this Hinox, which one, we're down underground, we're in a tunnel, awesome, / terrifying, because I hate tunnels. But two, look at his head. There's this almost post-like structure with spikes coming off of it. And when I see that, I just kind of imagine the big spiked clubs that we would see characters in Breath of the Wild hold. I mean, is it possible that there's some type of, whether he takes it out or he uses it or we use it after we've harvested this creature? I'm not really sure, but it's very exciting to speculate on. We also have this very big giant green rock that I'm assuming we're gonna need as well. So, okay, this shot is very interesting. At first I thought, man, what's going on with the grass and the effects here? Like, are they certain colors and rows? One, the grass just looks a little bit taller than I think we've seen before in other parts of Hyrule, which I really think that we need to have spots of the game that's like this. You know, I live in Ohio, I was on a farm, different grass grow at different lengths, and it doesn't make sense for a world as vast as this to have just kind of the same grass everywhere. So it seems to be a little bit different, but that's not the point. The point is, if you remember those glyphs that we saw earlier, like in the distance that might be able to be seen from the sky or just from far away, we're actually inside that glyph right now. So what is the point of those? Is it some type of signal, some type of warning, some type of sanctuary? I'm not sure, but you can get right up to them. So who knows what's gonna happen with these? We have a Bokoblin who's being brought in with air support, and interesting, he has a stone axe. I'm like unreasonably excited about new weapons. Every time I played Breath of the Wild, like each time, I ended up liking the weapon system more and more, both in being able to collect interesting things and use interesting things. Like, they became special because they can be temporary. Does that make sense? If I was using a Rito kite shield, like it felt like this is special because I can only find a couple of these. Obviously, you don't want to break them. But if we do think about why do the enemies have these weird horn types, maybe we will be able to repair certain things that break or make them stronger. But at the very least, we know there's gonna be some different things just with this stone axe that the Bokoblins are using, which they used to use primarily bone and wooden items. So yeah, cool. I mean, again, look at this here. We have Moblins this time. These Moblins that have this weird kind of shell-like helmet, they are unarmed, but we have an armed Moblin with a shield and a sword back here, and he has more of a bovine or bull-like horn structure. So there's gotta be a reason for this and not just a matter of variety. I really do feel like there's something that is here that's going to change up the way that we get resources and those resources interact with our weapon system. I really believe that's gonna be something that's gonna happen, both because there was a lot of complaints in the first game about that system, two, because it just makes you feel like things are a little bit more diverse even though they are the same species that you're fighting. Oh, okay, hold on, I missed this. Very interesting. So in the background, it looks to me almost like the skull camps that we would see Bokoblins and other enemy types at in Breath of the Wild, but way bigger. And I'm seeing here there's a built structure above this as well, so maybe this is the new enemy camp, whether these rise from the ground or they're just fashioned from rock that's already there. This seems to be an enemy camp design here that's something that we haven't seen in Breath of the Wild, or I should say much bigger and better than something we did see in Breath of the Wild. Okay, this is exciting. Here, Link is fighting some boxes, and I know you might say, what's exciting about that? I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see that this green energy, which I personally am associating with Zonai ancient technology, the Zonai could be responsible for a lot of things. And it seems like a lot of those things are almost modularly built. And when I mean that, I mean think about Legos. Like, you can have a bunch of Legos, but you don't really make something until you start putting them together in interesting ways. And I say that both because of this enemy type that could theoretically shape itself into anything, but also later, some crazy stuff that I can't believe that this game is going into. But yeah, these like Zonai construction blocks, I think are going to be a bigger part of the game than people are realizing. Keeping with that theme, you've probably noticed Link has these kind of vials with the same color energy, and it really feels like these vials and Link's hand are replacing the Sheikah Slate, right? Something different, but gonna be a little bit similar. I have something to say about Link's hand too. If you're wondering about the themes that Breath of the Wild was inspired by, go check out the movie Princess Mononoke. It's an animated film from Japan, and it's about a boy that is in a world much like Hyrule and gets infected. His arm is infected, much like it seems like Link's is here. You know, the first Breath of the Wild, the color of Link's tunic, the beast Ganon boss fight at the end is so Princess Mononoke, it's not even funny. And I thought like, oh, what a cool jumping off point. It's not a jumping off point. They are going completely Princess Mononoke. Trust me, watch this movie and then go check out some Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom stuff. You're going to have an enhanced experience because of it. So there's your homework. All right, this is our first real look at Ganondorf from this game. I mean, we've seen a little bit, just a flash in a previous trailer of Ganon, but we get this zombie, dried out husk version of Ganondorf with longer hair than I think we've ever seen him outside of Hyrule Warriors, which is kind of a non-canon look. So of all of the races in Hyrule, the Gerudo really benefited from what Breath of the Wild showed, both in their culture and the way they feel about their part in Ganon's legacy. And I really want to see that explored even more, possibly through a point of view that we don't ever really get. I hope that we get to learn about the man, not just the monster, because he is one of my favorite villains. And I should say that there's a lot of bias in there because, again, I was an Ocarina of Time kid. Ocarina of Time is a fantastic game, but it's an older game and there's not a ton to the story. So as a imaginative farm boy with a lot of time, when I played that game, it was like I was in the Matrix, just trying to like make up story and character and motivation and what's across that hill. I don't know. I have no idea what's across that hill. And then, you know, I got a Game Shark and I could moon jump and I finally could go across that hill and there's nothing. So that was very unsatisfying. So I want that young boy to be satisfied here, now, with this game, with more details about one of my favorite villains in gaming history, Ganondorf. Okay, so this giant shot of Hyrule, we can see this cube over here. You might be like, cube, who cares? Well, look where it is. I'm pretty sure this is the Zonai maze. Yeah, it is. I mean, these are the mountains here. Hebra maze, maybe? It looks to me like the entire maze just got up and went into the sky. Considering that that maze seems to be Zonai created, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think a lot of this stuff is going to be related to the Zonai. How much of the maze did we not see because it was buried? We have one of these flying enemies with a... Okay, so yeah, Link uses that green teal energy to power up whatever this bow is. It's some type of homing bow, but it seems to have a structure, or maybe you could call it a balloon at the end of it to make it fly. Link lets it go, it goes straight for a second, and then not just hits the thing, but headshots the thing. That's a critical hit right there. Yeah, that seems to be something special. Maybe we just used part of our vial to make that happen. And if you really think about it, this could be the return of some type of magic meter to Legend of Zelda. Okay, so this is really interesting. It looks to me like we are up on Death Mountain right now, and Link is using his shield to sled on this various infrastructure that generally you would need a minecart for. The enemies are mining, again, this giant rock with this red vein of malice that is coming out of Death Mountain. They are doing something with this malice. It's not just that the moon and the mountain and all this stuff has malice. It seems like they are mining for more. What are they doing? I'm not really sure, but I love the idea of attacking enemy camps that's not just, well, they're bad guys, let's go get them. No, they're bad guys doing bad things is what it seems to be like. It's gonna be a little bit more rewarding to stop them from doing stuff versus just existing, which, as much as I don't feel bad for the enemies in Hyrule, I like that there seems to be an actual function to taking them out, not just because they're there. Yay, gyroscope puzzles are back, everybody. I have this thing where, like, I don't know if it's the game's fault or if I just suck at gaming, but I mean, there were parts of those puzzles in the first game where I was like, you know, just trying to figure out how can I get this thing to turn. But I guess it does help that there's kind of like a little bit of a mini model here that you can set the actual bigger part of the puzzle to. If you notice, down here, there seems to be a hanging jar, which definitely reminds me of different shrines in the first game that, oh yeah, actually, if you look here, there could be maybe leaves up here. Sometimes you would need to destroy a jar with a flame in it, and you could burn leaves or burn something. I wonder if that's part of this puzzle or not, but that's what immediately sticks out to me in that shot. Okay, this is crazy. Come on, Look at this. 1, giant cavern, really cool. 2, we have a talus with what seems to be a luminous stone weakness, and we have various, another vein over here of luminous stones. The luminous stones are very close in color. I mean, they're a little more blue, but very close in color to the vials that we have. But look at this weapon. I think this is a portable cannon. Like, I mean, there's a barrel for it. There's all of these kind of Zonai markings. And if we can pause it at the right moment, like right here, Link has this, I don't know what I would call it, piece of machinery that he is seemingly plugged in to this cannon. It lights up and he fires a cannonball or a bomb. It's crazy, it's destructive, it's the type of thing that if we do have a mysterious energy source either in our hand or a new type of weapon or item that you can control, let's say Zonai things with, that's crazy, and we're gonna get even crazier a little bit more into the trailer. But first, we do have this shot. I immediately assumed Zelda just by the garb, but this is very different from what we've seen Zelda wear in the past. Garments, these ornaments that go down the front of the dress, I don't really recognize, but whoever this person is putting out a hand to Link with the corrupted hand. You could say, all right, well, who do you think it is? Is it Zelda? Maybe. Is it Hylia, the goddess? Could be. I mean, Zelda is a reincarnation of the goddess Hylia. It could be a fairy fountain. Maybe we'll have different fairy fountains in this version of the game. I don't know. A lot of different things it could be. Okay, now the craziness starts. Because look, this is pretty much stasis. It looks like we could be on the plateau. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna guess that we are. Link pulls out what looks to be, as a person that's played with toys my whole life, a toy wheel. And I only say toy because, my God, the potential of this is so fun. I can't wait for me, and more importantly, others to play with this new mechanic that I think they're telling us you can create vehicles. I don't think that Link just found this. Look, he has another control shaft in here, but we can see a battery, the battery being the same color as the vials that he holds on his hips. This kind of green coloring seems to be Zonai adjacent. Like, I think that you very well could have collected this platform, these wheels, these headlights, and you can create vehicles. Yeah, horses are great. You know what else is great? A giant Bigfoot monster truck. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? You ever see the monster trucks? There's Bigfoot, there's Gravedigger. You can make one. Like, that's the thing I'm most excited for. Like, yeah, you can build some stuff. We can actually see in the next shot a balloon, right? A hot air balloon. Look at this air machine. Look how simple it is in its construction. Yeah, we have this kind of like glue and this energy. I think that you can grab various Zonai modular parts and create platforms, vehicles, airships with them. The thing I'm most excited by with this isn't just me doing it. I want to go online and see the crazy stuff people are gonna make with this thing. Breath of the Wild has a very, very robust physics engine, and a lot of people in that first game were able to create flying machines and do crazy things with that physics engine. And I know that was a goal of the developers to encourage that, not to get rid of it. Like, there were examples in playtesting when players would do these kind of crazy things, and you might think, all right, we should take that out, that's not intended. The game director didn't want that. No, let them explore, let them create. And if this is the direction they're gonna go in, the creativity of creating these type of machines out of modular boxes and items that can serve different functions. I mean, this machine is just a platform with 4 fans. We saw 2 fans earlier, just laying around. Imagine building an airship that has a cannon on it. You might say, like, that's ridiculous. I think we might be going there, which is very exciting. We also can see more of this, like, I don't know, beanstalk or space elevator structures that are going down to the ground. I'm not really sure what that's about. But who needs them when I can build a spaceship? That's what I'm talking about. I mean, we have crop circles, kind of, with the glyphs on the ground. It's gonna happen, everybody. Tears of the Kingdom is going to be insane. I know it. You might be saying, Eric, you're setting up wild expectations for yourself. Look what they built. They built a car in the trailer. You know, come on. Oh, and I am just now noticing there seems to be a more civilized camp here. I mean, over here we have this carriage that I'm like, oh, I can get an amber from over there. Or actually, I should say, you can get 2 amber from every broken down carriage. Just putting that out there. I know that most of you know you can go up and pick up 1. Go to the other side. You can get 2 for every single one. But over here, again, there seems to be more of a civilian-like or military-like tent. I don't see Bokoblins putting that type of tent up. Yeah, that's Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We have this Zonai dragon-eating dragon design in the background. We even have the Master Sword, not in great shape, deteriorating, but then also going with this green-blue energy. I have a lot of theories about the green-blue energy, about the Zonai, about all that stuff, but really it comes down to the color choice, right? Link, throughout the years, have been shown, with the green tunic, but in the first game, they wanted to change the colors around. One, Princess Mononoke Blue it looks great on Link, but also it makes Link stand out. Whenever you have a character dressed in green on a green field, he can get a little lost, so the blue makes sense, I understand that. But I wonder if there is some type of symbolism of the green classic Hyrule hero Link mixed with champion blue does kind of invoke something with this teal color. But also in this part, we do get this almost coded message, which sounds to me like backward speaking. I did actually reverse it, and I can't tell if there's something being said, an actual word, but I can clearly hear a woman's voice. Why do you put that in the trailer? And why do you make it something that you can't understand? It means that someone's trying to communicate. Someone is trying to talk to us. Is that someone in a different realm, from the past, from a different civilization that we can't understand? That's why I think it's in the trailer. What do you think? 5/12/23. That's 5 days before my birthday, and I can't think of a single gift I want more. Yes, that is my breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sure there's a lot more different meanings and hidden Easter eggs and stuff that you can find. I'm sure there is. I need to go and do a watch of all my favorite Zelda YouTubers, which I am not a Zelda YouTuber, but man, if things ever change in my life and I need to think of a new career path, that might be fun. I've always respected those guys and how much they can remember and how much they care and love and want to see these games succeed. And at the very least, I count myself among them in that regard. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Hope you enjoyed that initial trailer reaction, and we hope that you stick around for Blind Wave Gaming. We have a lot of new ideas for this channel. You know that Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is gonna be a big part of those ideas. So make sure you guys subscribe, get excited, and we'll see you back here for the next big thing to talk about right here at Blind Wave Gaming. See ya.